All right. Hello. All right. I'm Sajana from SajanaShines.com. And I'm here today to record a couple of messages about my seminary experience. Hopefully, you can hear me because I am outside in the neighborhood. There are ants. Okay, I'm going to have to. Anyway, this is real life. Wanted to talk to you about my seminary experience because I just wanted to document this journey semester by semester and put it online in hopes that it will help someone else that's either thinking about going to seminary or are already in seminary or just want to see and follow my journey as I follow Christ. So, hopefully this is helpful to you. All right, so this video is going to be broken up into two parts. I got some notes here. So, the first video, this one right here, is going to be about just generally speaking, what was it like for my first semester in seminary? And then the next video, if you choose to watch that, is going to be kind of like an overview of what I learned in the 4 classes that I took my first semester at George W. Truett Theological Seminary, located in Waco, Texas. Okay, so getting to it, I am Sajana. I have a social media. You can find me at Sajana Shines, Sejana Shines. That's actually not my last name. Shines, I came up with that because it's like we're shining the light of Christ into the world, right? So that's where it's from, Sajana Shines. Okay, so Sajana Shines, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or on my blog, which isn't updated regularly. I would say Instagram and Facebook is more current, but my blog is www.sejanashines.com, and there'll be a category called Seminary, and you can find these videos and updates. If you want to just follow that, you can do that there. All right, so getting to it. Here's some thoughts. Can't talk about every single thing, which I can do, but that might not be so interesting for everyone. But if you want to know more, just hit me up on social media, YouTube, or my blog, and I'll be sure to get back in contact with you. Okay, but a couple of things I wanted to talk about. I'll just name it off here, and then the next video you can hear a little bit about the actual classes. But I wanted to talk about being an older student, military veteran, female, meetings with professors and staff, ministry connections, the writing center, and just thoughts as I look ahead and what I wanted to thank God for during this first semester. So that's basically what I'm going to talk about now, and I'm looking at the time. I've already talked for almost 4 minutes, so I need to get going, right? Okay. If you have some specific questions, though, just reach out and let me know. Sometimes I don't cover it all, or I cover too much. Okay. Older students. All right. So what I didn't realize when I went to seminary, well, this is my first time going to seminary, and as actually for my second degree, I have a master's in clinical mental health counseling, but that was done online through Walden University. It was a good program, but it was online, and I knew that when choosing a seminary, I really wanted to go in person. I knew that this topic, and I needed to do it in person. And one reason for that is because, well, the main reason is because, as you probably already know, if you follow me for a while or you know me personally, my husband is not a believer. So I knew that in going through this journey, I wanted to actually make connections with and see people as I start to learn and do all these things that are happening that I expected to happen in seminary. So I needed an in-person experience for this. And so I believe, especially now after going to school for since the middle of January is when we started. So since then, what I know is, and what I believe is that God sent us here to Texas, because we were actually living in South Korea when I applied. Oh man, there's a group of kids passing by. I think I need to pause the video because they are cussing. All right. So as an older student, which by the way, I didn't even realize that I knew I was older, but it wasn't until one of the teacher assistants referred to me as an older student that I realized, oh, I am an older student, and she must be talking about me, and I must be an older student. I mean, I knew that. When you look around, you can see that there are definitely some younger students, people who just finished their bachelor's degree and came immediately over to seminary. And then there were the others who were just older, lived life, were in ministry or something, and now are here back in school. So I'm an older student. I have a family and I commute. So a couple of things I wanted to say about that. As an older student and a person that has to commute to school, takes me an hour and 15 minutes to get to school, to campus, and at first it's so tiring, but then I got used to it. What I wanted to do is make and take full advantage of the fact that I was there and that I got to be in this experience. So I try to make lunch dates with anyone, a peer, an appointment with a professor, to talk about, my trajectory in ministry, or to take them up on their offer to meet with students. So, but really, I mostly met with my peers. I wanted to get to know their story, because sometimes in class you get to know about them, but not really about them individually, like what caused them to be there and why were they there, and just what was God doing in their life. I'm just very interested in that. So I got to just get to know others in my class. Also, I'd say if you're an older student, or you're going to be an older student and you have a family and you're going to commute, what I needed to really learn was time management. That was something I prayed about all throughout my time going to school again. Just getting used to that while balancing all the other roles and responsibilities that I have in the home. That took some time, because homework took a lot of time. It probably took more time than I thought it would take, even to read all of the things that we were required to read, just to stay on top of that, required a whole lot of time and concentration. So I don't know if that's because I'm older, or because sometimes I have a hard time focusing on things that I'm reading. I'm learning I've changed into more of an audio person while reading. And sometimes figuring out a way to do that takes time. But the only other thing I would say is enjoy your break when you have a break. I'm at the end of my break that I had for summer, because I'm about to start summer classes on Wednesday, which is why I'm making this video now. I really wanted to make sure that I got this done before my classes really started, because if that doesn't happen, then it's not gonna happen. So another thing I wanted to talk about was being a military veteran. As a U.S. Army military veteran, I served active duty for 12 years and got out to raise my 2 kids and build a family and a home. And my husband actually is the one that got stationed here at Fort Hood. So, but what I will say about that, being a military veteran, they do have an office and a liaison that really works to help veterans in whatever way they need help. They build a community there, and I only really know about that because he was in one of my classes, so it's pretty cool. So I got to know him and hear about his family a little bit. But what I wanted to say about that is, of course, I used my military GI Bill to pay for my first semester of school. Actually, it was the last little bit of my GI Bill because the rest of it went to my other master's. So I was so thankful that it actually paid for this first semester so I could try out seminary. I mean, I thought I would finish, but you know, it and it's all taken care of. So, and I even got the housing um, monies too. So it's really great as a military veteran. And as a female going to this specific school, George W. Truett in Waco, I will say that, you know, sometimes you don't know what an experience is going to be like until you're in the experience. I really didn't want to talk about it until I actually got in it and got finished it out. And what I will say after one semester of attending Truett and being involved in everything they had to offer and talking to others while I was there, really taking advantage of being a seminary student, is they meaning the school, George W. Truett, from what I can tell, equally equips all persons for ministry, meaning all persons, meaning male and female, or people from different countries. Even we have international students that come as well, and even those who aren't Baptists, because I think it's historically a Baptist school, but I mean, they're gonna teach from that and talk about that, but equally equipped for all to serve in ministry. And specifically, I'm talking about as a female. I did not, I mean, I knew that from their website and from what the enrollment person said, and then during their preview I asked questions and kind of like trying to gauge what it would be like. But hearing from different professors throughout the courses, talking to staff, talking to other students that are further ahead, seeing alumni who have already graduated and the work they're able to do. Definitely, this school is a great school if you are a woman and who wants to be in ministry. You will be affirmed at this school. That's what I've experienced, and I didn't expect it so much. So I'm very thankful and happy. That's why I think that God sent us here to Fort Hood so that I could go to that school. Actually, we had a green check mark. If you know about the military Army life and the new system, we had a green check mark to go to Wisconsin. But when the orders came out, it was Fort Hood. We were shocked. And I believe that we were sent here for me to go to this specific school. That's my thought on that. And yeah, the last thing I want to talk about real briefly is well, I said I was going to talk about these other things, so I'm just going to real briefly say that you can have one-on-one meetings with your professors or even other professors that you don't have. Because I had a meeting with the missions the missions director guy, and he's not even my professor yet. But when talking to my professor about some things that were going on and my thoughts at the time about ministry and what was happening with me, he said, you really need to talk to this person because they've traveled the world and kind of had the same thinkings that you're talking about. And so I did. So we were able to meet and have discussion. And so basically what I'm trying to say is staff and the professors and I mean other students who are ahead, they are open to you to help you as they have been helped, I'm sure. And the professors that I've had, at least in my first semester, have all been really generous with their time and knowledge to, help me as a student trying to discern, this call that God has placed on me, not just to come and learn things, but to how does God want me to live it out. So I really appreciate that about seminary, and I think if you choose to go to seminary, you will probably experience that same thing, and it will be a blessing to you and to those that receive care from you because of your care. in your studies at seminary. Um, and I wanted to mention the Ministry Connections office, Mr. Jack Bodenhammer. You know, um, like I said, I take up every offer that they have to like reach out, help resume, just meet and talk, get to know you. You know, I have taken advantage of that, and what I will say um, is is I I've when you do that, like for example in Truett Chapel, which is every Tuesday at 11 a.m., which I went to every Tuesday because I was on campus and I made a point to go to that, is, you know, you could help with the worship team, and I put my name on the list and was able to help with that. So, I mean, like all of these things that you're able to do and to help to use the gifts that you've been given, or even just to try out new things, they're seen and noticed, and other people see that and they want to help you continue to explore and figure out what it is that God will have you to do. So I just like use the resources that are given to you, including the writing center. Right, where the Truett Theological Seminary is attached to, or you know, one of the schools, you know, attached to Baylor University, and they have a ton of resources. One of them is the writing center, which I took a lot. I used it a lot, especially in the beginning when I was on top of getting my work done earlier enough to have something to talk about with the people that were there, you know, to help with grammar, generating an idea. Not generate, I had a lot of ideas, just like, how do I put this together? I'm not that great in writing, even though I have a blog. I mean, I have thoughts. I don't know how to academically put it together well. I don't. So, you know, you can't be great at everything, right? So anyway, they do offer that, and they do help with that, and so I took advantage of that, and when I did, it definitely showed. So looking ahead, these are the things that I'd like to, because I kind of wrote out what I wanted to talk about just because I can go on and on. But looking ahead, these are the things that I thought that I'd like to continue as I keep going in seminary. And actually, my next class starts Wednesday for my summer semester 1 class. All right. I want to continue to work on my time management. Of course, that's always going to be a struggle. I know, especially since I have a family. One is about to go into high school in the fall. You know, it's just life continues even though you're trying to do something. So I want to prioritize school and let the other obligations that I have kind of go back a little bit. And I'm not talking about family. I'm talking about I do discipleship with others, and we've already been in conversation about this, about the fact that I'm going to need more time to devote to my studies, especially in the fall. I'm going to be doing more than a full-time load. That's just my personal choice, and I'm hoping that it will work out, but I know it's going to require a lot more time. So I've been talking to the persons that I meet with and have been meeting with for years, you know, hey, I think it's time for us to end our meetings, our weekly meetings, and for you to go out and find who will you disciple, because I'm moving to the next level, next thing, not next level, but you can't do everything, right? We all have the same amount of hours in the day, and I've been trying to manage it all, but really I can't do that well. Maybe you can. I don't know. And a personal goal for me is to try and work ahead a little on my homework. I'm more of a procrastinator type. I know my work can be of even more better quality if I were to get it done even a day earlier, so that I could proofread, edit, you know, use that writing center and stuff like that. I want to continue to make lunch connections or regular weekly connections with people, whether it's inviting them over to our home or meeting them out in campus. I want to definitely continue to do that, because what I want to do during my time at seminary is not just increase knowledge, but to increase relationships, you know, the quality of relationships that I'm able to have, not just like networking with tons of people, which I'm going to automatically do just because I'm that type of person, but the depth and quality of relationships. I mean, we're all going into ministry in some way, and it's just I want to sort of attend to those relationships while I can and while I'm able to go to school. I want to continue to follow the Lord where He leads me, meaning that people try to lead you in certain places for various reasons, and I've been led by people for a while, and I'd like to be led by the Lord. Sometimes that means not listening to certain people. That has been happening. That's been in transition for a while, and I'm just sort of acknowledging that now and saying that I want to continue to do that even more so. So that means I'm going to have to make sure that I prioritize. Number one is that I would continue to spend time listening for His voice, spend time in quiet, spend time just reflecting. Those are all important things that I really was able to really kind of recognize the importance of it this semester, and then start doing it, like really craving it. And I want to keep that up, because I mean, ultimately we want all of our ministers, right, to have that deep, personal, intimate connection with the Lord as they lead us. And as we are led, because we're all priesthoods of believers. That's what Baptists believe, right? That we can individually go to God. We don't need to go through someone to reach God. I mean, we go through Jesus Christ Himself, but that's it. There's no other mediator between God and man but the Lord Jesus. So really, we don't need a minister, because we are ministers. But there are influences that we have amongst others that are around us, whether they're in our home, outside of our home, complete strangers. We have influence, and so we want to make sure that it's godly and we present the Lord right. And in my case, Sojourner shines, right? I'm shining and reflecting the true light of Christ, and not maybe my own beating my own drum or something like that, which is easy to do, but I don't want to do that. I want to be led the right way, and I want to take responsibility for how I lead others. Finally, I just want to thank God about what has happened this first semester. And this is just right off the top of my head as I was writing down a few things that have happened. A lot has happened, let me tell you, since the beginning of January and moving from South Korea to here. A lot has happened. And by the way, this window, on the other side of the window is my family. They're all, you probably hear my daughter. Okay, so lots of praises and lots of changes. So I just want to highlight a few of them. One of is, I found out towards the end of the first semester that I applied for this in December, but I found out towards the end of the semester that I did receive a competitive scholarship. 100% of my tuition, well, I already paid for the first semester, but I mean, like, all these was 84 credits for the completion of the degree will be paid for. I have a scholarship, my first scholarship ever, and it's for 100%, and I can't believe that, and it's amazing. And with Daniel retiring from the Army next year, and me spending money to go to school and not having a job that pays, this is a real blessing, so that I can just focus on my studies and wherever else God leads. So this is just a huge shout out and praise to the Lord for making that happen, and for the people that wrote references for me, and for those that prayed for me and continue to pray for me and us, my family. Thank you for that, and thank you, God. I also had my first preaching opportunity, and there is a long journey with this whole me thinking about why would I go out and step out like that. And that'll be another video, because it is, and if you have been talking to me personally, you probably have heard bits and pieces of this journey. But yeah, so I had my first preaching opportunity, and it was at a little church, and on Mother's Day. Can't I mean, the experience, I learned a lot from that experience. And actually, the preaching sermon itself is posted on my YouTube page if you want to hear it. But the experience itself was beautiful, and I'm just thankful to God for that opportunity. And maybe I'll have more. I don't know. We'll see what God has in store for me, because that just came out of, sort of, kind of out of the blue, and fast. So I want to thank God for the Baptist Women in Ministry. It's a national organization that I applied for a 2-year mentoring cohort for those that are in ministry. And by the grace of God, I got into that program, even though I don't have a formal ministry position. Again, like I said, God is providing. And I believe he is definitely, he's just affirming what he's already been doing in my life. I mean, so I just saying that now. I had a successful first semester, got 1A, 3Bs, and not that it's really about the grades, but I learned a lot. And that'll be in another video, what specifically did I learn in each of those classes, just real brief. But I learned a lot, had formed new relationships with others in various, not everyone wants to be in formal ministry roles that attend seminary, but a lot are, and a lot are open. So, just being in conversation and in class with all these individuals has been a true blessing to me personally and for my ministry, because the things I've picked up, I've shared with those that I've met with weekly. And they've benefited from that too. So I want to thank God for our family life here at home. It's solid. Even though we all transitioned from an overseas move, they had a successful first year in their new schools here in the United States. Again, solid. I'm not saying that it was all easy. I'm saying that God helped me through, helped us through. And I want to acknowledge that. And finally, I just want to say I've concluded my first semester with a broader understanding of God. A broader understanding of God. Not just, well, I'll just leave it like that for now. A broader understanding of God and appreciation for what He is doing in this world and in the church, the global church. And I leave that with a sense of humility, that maybe I don't know as much as I thought I knew. And maybe those that were teaching me and were around me also might be the same. So, but I can't speak for them. I'll just speak for me. I want to be open to what the Holy Spirit is leading and teaching me through the people that He's surrounding me with. Always, of course, carefully discerning what it is that he has to say to me and why He's presenting this information now. What does He want me to do with it? These are all things that I have to keep coming back to God about, and that I have, and I want to continue to do. But as I've gone along the way, He has certainly helped me and led me. So I just want to thank God for that. So those are my thoughts after my very first semester at seminary, and hopefully it's helpful to you. Let me know. Remember to, if you want to stay connected with me in this journey, you can follow me on social media, on Instagram or Facebook. That's where I post more regularly, at Sajana Shines, or on my blog, which is sajanashines.com. And sometimes if there's a video, I upload it onto YouTube, which is Sajana Shines. So let me know what stood out to you, or if you have any specific questions that I didn't cover, or just thoughts, or if you yourself are about to go into seminary, you're thinking about it, or if you're thinking about coming to Truett, let me know. I'll look for you. All right, bye.